you've walked through in your life and everything you've done, and all the things they said that people would not be able to do, you've done it. Give yourself a great big shout. Give your being, and give your community a hand for being alive and being vibrant and teaching children. You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out. You put your right foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Hey, you can join me? Singing is not my first game. You put your left foot in, you put your left foot out. You put your left foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. What would happen in your life, in your relationships, with your children, with everything that you are, if you put your whole self in, you take your whole self out, you put your whole self in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Okay, give yourselves a great big hand. Put your whole selves in. I'm reminded of that so often in my life. It could be as simple as going to the grocery store. You know, it could be like trying to direct the traffic rather than being aware of the person that may be beside me in the car. Am I putting my whole self in, right where I am in the moment that I'm having? Or is there only part of me that's coming forward? I'm always tickled with people that say, oh, I think I've met the right person. Oh, you know, he's really handsome and everything, and he has a good job, and we're going to travel all over, but, you know, I'm just kind of taking it slow. I'm just kind of putting a little bit in there. I'm just kind of giving a little bit until I see what he's going to do. Excuse me, he's leaving. Right? And because that's what you get back. When you put half into anything, you get half back. That's what Sean teaches here every week and all week in classes. Whatever you bring is what you get. If you want more love and clarity in your life, you bring more love and clarity to every experience. If you want joy, you bring joy. There's so many people in the world that really think the ticket is to take, when the truth of the matter is the ticket is to give. A number of years ago, when I was a student studying ministerial school, I heard the great story that changed my life about Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes loved life. He believed the Augmandino statement that says, God, my life is your gift to me, and what I do with my life is my gift to you. And he took that literally. And he took that into meaning every day. And so everywhere he would go, no matter what, in a setting like this, he'd go, hi, how are you doing, Teresa? Hi, I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes. Hi. And he'd just walk around and introduce, hi, I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes. People would look at each other like, who is this? Must be somebody very important. I don't really know who he is. He'd go into the restaurants and he'd do the same. They'd have food at the restaurant and he'd say to everybody, did you enjoy the food? Hi, I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes. Did you like the food? And they go, well, yeah, we like the food. Okay, everybody, let's stand up and bring the chef out. We need to acknowledge him and honor him. Hi, I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes. Thank you for doing that. And that's the way he lived every day of his life. He went to California to a gardens. And he had an entourage of people, you know, walking around with him and everything, because he was such an amazing, incredible person. And he walks into these gardens and he looks around at all the flowers and everything is so beautiful. And he walks up and he sees this little plant and it needs love. There's, you know, we're talking thousands of acres here. And he walks up to this man, the gardener, and he goes, hi, I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes. The guy, okay. And he goes, I need to know who's in charge here. And the man goes, well, they're up there, you know, in headquarters. He said, I need you to tell him Dr. Ernest Holmes is here and I need him to come down. So here comes all these men with all their suits and ties and everything in a row coming down like, what in the world could this man possibly want, you know? And he walks right up and they come up to him and he goes, hi, I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes. And they go, okay. And they go, you know, they look at him kind of odd and he goes, I want to know what you're going to do about this. And they look at him like, it's just a little plant, sir. And he said, "It's alive, isn't it?" And all of a sudden, these men in these suits and ties, they get the fertilizer, they get the water, they get everything to take care of this plant. And after people walk away, Ernest walks over to the plant and he says, "I told you I'd take care of you, didn't I? Didn't I?" Life, you see, every energy that you give to life will become the very life that sustains your being. It will give you an electrifying energy that is ageless, that is timeless, that is not conditional, that has nothing to do with the energy that you have left over from yesterday, but it's about the experience that you're having right now, you see. And we live in a society that we're not told that all the time. We have energy compared to, what we gave away in our 20s or in our 30s or in our 40s. And there's only so much of us left still kind of moving along. But that's not the vibrancy and the teaching of unity. Unity is alive. And we are alive in it, and we are magnetic, and we are bringing that good. For many people, we are the only Bible that they ever meet in their lives. And so we say to ourselves, can we put our whole selves in? And you say, well, sometimes I'm hesitant. I don't really have that courage that Ernest Holmes would have, or Reverend Sean would have, or David Friedman would have, or Scott would have. We all have felt that sensation. I'd like to remind you that even Jesus felt that sensation. In that, at the wedding of Cana of Galilee, the mother of Jesus was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. And when the wine gave out, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." She called attention to him like, this is the moment. The lights are on you. And what did he say? "Woman, what concern is that to you and me?" What concern? My hour has not yet come. It's not yet come. Now, if David Freeman had been alive then, he could have coached Jesus into walking through the sensation. He could have helped him out with that, right? Isn't that the best work? I mean, what David has done? Absolutely. And that's the point. We will always have these sensations. We all have the sensations, but we walk through the sensation. It does not stop us into putting our whole selves in. Are you with me? Are you resonating with what I'm saying and with what I'm sharing? What I feel is the greatest Christ story starts out in the chapter of Matthew. And it's very interesting, but I'm going to preface this with a story first. There's a little girl who's doing a school project. And she goes to her mom and she says, "Mommy, I need to tell them where we came from." And her mom said, "Oh, honey, we're direct descendants from Adam and Eve." And so she said, "Okay." And so she goes to her dad and she goes, "Dad, tell me where we came from." And the dad says, "Well, honey, that's easy. We're all coming from monkeys." And she goes, "Monkeys? Okay." So she goes to her mom and she goes, "I'm confused, Mom. You say that we come from Adam and Eve, and Dad says that we come from monkeys. What is it?" And she goes, "Oh, honey, that's just your dad. He's just talking about his side of the family." There's a statement that says that there are two significant days in a person's life. One is the day you're born, and the second is knowing why. Knowing why. And if you follow the teachings of Matthew, you can see very clearly that in the first chapter it mentioned all the descendants, like 14 generations. But then there was a deciding moment in the writing which said, "And then came Jesus." And on the appearance, it was very different. It was a virgin birth. It was an individual that came knowing that he was really from God. And that shook people up, because he brought forth the ability for each of us to see, not that we need a savior of something out there, but we need to save ourselves from ourselves. Because up to then, there were only rules and there were laws. Thou shalt not do this and thou shalt not do that, not tools. And Jesus brought amazing tools because he wanted people to see, don't you get it? you're not just your family system. You're not just who your parents were. And you're not just who their parents were. And you're surrounded in race consciousness with people that will always tell you that. I remember how fascinated I was as a little girl, because I always felt like a mystic, and I would draw upon nature a lot, and I would always feel fascinating when I would, say to my family or something, we'd be at a gathering, and I'd sneeze one time, and they'd say, oh, you're going to have, all the problems with asthma that your grandmother has. Okay, that's special. Or the first little stomach ache. I'm like 12. Oh, you're going to have all the problems. With your ovaries. I don't even know what that is. You're going to have all these problems. Because your aunt had that. You're probably going to have major surgery. When you're very young. And I'm thinking, and this is life. But yet it is life to a lot of people. I am what my parents were, and they are what their parents were. Is there some fact to that? Absolutely. Is it spiritual truth? Absolutely not. Thank heavens Myrtle Fillmore knew this also. That the Christ within you is a freedom of getting the fact that you are not a direct descendant from your parents, you are a direct derivative descendant from God. Can you make the distinction? Because it's very important to be able to make the distinction so that you can step into your infinity. Otherwise, you'll always, like I used to, live in a paradigm that you'll belong to what of your parents, that energy of your family belong to. Are you with me? Can you resonate with that? Because it's very important. Infinity is from God. Limitation is from others. There isn't any in between, you see. If you look at the word familiar, that's what we do over and over and over again in our lives. We attract people in our lives so we can project onto them our parents and all of our limitations and stuff, project, to have a new understanding of the same story. You can't get a new understanding of the same story if you're projecting the same story onto it, yes? Because that's the law of working in the now. But in the front of the word familiar is the word family. And we associate and we identify. But guess what's on the back of the word? Liar. It's not truth, you see. It's not truth. How do I know this? My mother was a drug addict, still is. Love her, love her, love her. Is she my mother? Yes. Am I proud she is? Yes. Do I thank her so many times for birthing me? Yes. Did I want to be a drug addict? No. How was that shift? Presence and power of God. One life, one presence, one power. That life is my life. It is my life right now. Did I start that road? Yes. But I walked into unity that says, that's not true for you. You're a child of God, and therefore you do not have to inherit addiction. You do not have to inherit disease. You do not have to inherit being an alcoholic. I used to be. 25 years now, I'm not, you see. But that's from that energy of truth. So it's making that distinction in your life. Very powerful. Of all the things that Spirit has in store for you, and that's what Jesus found so exciting. And if you read through Scripture, you're going, really, really, really? Yes, really. If you read through Scripture, many times people go, is that your mother? Is that your brother? And he goes, who? Who are you talking about? In the kingdom of heaven, we're all brothers and sisters, you see, because to him, that was not his number one priority. I would urge that in your life not to be yours. Your number one priority is knowing God through you and the potential that you've not even seen, that mystery that's still wanting to unravel before you, that is so exciting and so exhilarating. Who knows? Right? I love the story of the guy that's watching the other guy fishing. And he's observing him, and it's kind of weird because he'll catch fish and he looks at it and then he throws it back in, and they're sizable fish and he just can't figure it out. And this guy's like, I don't know what you're doing. And so he walks up to him and he goes, what is this? I don't understand. And the guy says, oh, son, let me explain it to you. He said, well, the thing of it is he said, I have one size frying pan. And he said, so every time I catch a fish, I take my old ruler and I measure the fish to it. And if it's bigger than the pan I own, he said, I throw it back in. And the guy's thinking, get a new pan. I mean, get a new pan. But it's a paradigm of the past. And it's a paradigm, and you think to yourself, I'd never do that, because I thought, well, first of all, I'd never fish. I'm a vegetarian. But secondly, I'd get that. I'd be so bright. I'd figure that out. But you know what? I do that with other things. I do that with other things, and you may too. You may measure the new relationship you have in your life compared to all the ones you had in the past. And you know what they become? Your past relationship. You may measure a church based upon this, of something that happened to you when you were 8 or 9. You may hold up your ruler and go, I don't know, it feels good, but I'm not really sure, because you know the one time that I had this one situation. And what are we doing when we do these things? We're still placing into law the new and nowness of our life according to our own understanding, and therefore it even magnifies greater than it did in the past. When we keep doing what we've always been doing, we keep getting what we've always got, you see. So in that, look at your life. Spend time this week. Delve into it. What are some of my repetitive experiences? Why do they show up cuter, but they're doing the same thing? What are some of the experiences that I'm having? What are some of the feelings that I'm having? And learn how to stretch in the new and the nowness of your box life. So much is available for you. I'll close with an idea that Jean Houston gave us at conference this year. Powerful, powerful woman has truly learned to live in that isness and infinity of God. And she said that this woman came up to her at a conference, and the woman said, I don't understand, I'm so angry, I'm so mad, I'm so frustrated with God. I just can't believe it. You know, we have the war going on, we have this situation in my community, we have children that are starving, we have people that feel abused. You know, I just can't believe it. How could God let this happen? And why can't God do something? Why? Why can't God do anything? And Jean looked at her and said, God did. God sent you. God sent you right here and right now to breathe the light, to be the change, to be all the things that you requested in your community prayer. Thank you for taking time in your life today to sit with me in this conversation. God bless you.